You're writing your book, but no matter what you do, it doesn't have that sense of immersion that so many other books have. If you don't find a way to fix it, you're not going to be able to make a story you're proud of. In this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know about writing deep POV and how to make your story feel more real to your audience. In your story, everything should be viewed through the lens of us being, or at least being in the head of, your POV character. In your story, everything should be viewed through the lens of us being, or being in the head of, your main character. In a perfect world, the prose shouldn't feel like it was written by you. It should feel like it was thought, sensed, or otherwise experienced by your POV character. It should bear their unique fingerprint. For example, is your character traversing the woods at night? Are they a normal person who just got lost in the woods and now they're absolutely terrified that every little noise is some kind of beast or monster trying to sneak up on them? Are they, darting their eyes around erratically and panicking to themselves? Maybe there is a beast that tries to attack them and now they gotta run away. What does that process look like? How fast do they tire out? If they're a field worker, they likely have a good amount of stamina, and as a field worker who probably lives a bit more out in the countryside, they're probably a bit more familiar with what the individual sounds of the forest are. But if they're a trader from a big city, maybe they're not that athletic, maybe they're somewhat sedentary, they're gonna tire out a lot quicker, and there's potential that they're going to be unfamiliar with a lot of the sounds that they hear and all that, right? So it's all about, what are these differences that could come up? What are they thinking during this whole process? You can let your characters' feelings and thoughts dictate the tone or the pace of your prose. Prose is anything that gets written down in a book. Some people say it includes dialogue. Some people say it doesn't. I find that to be an irrelevant point. Whether you consider dialogue to be prose or not doesn't matter for this specific example. But with your paragraphs and your sentences, you can shorten them up, right? Shorter sentences, shorter paragraphs. You can let your character's fear or anxiety or horror sneak into the way that you write. You can let their panic and their adrenaline sneak into it too. Keep in mind though, when I say that you can make stuff shorter, I do mean on average, right? You always want your prose to be varied. You don't want a bunch of sentences that are pretty much the same length. You don't want paragraphs that are pretty much the same length, same amount of lines. You don't want to be having the same grammar structure all the time. You want to vary it up, but on average, you can shorten it up. You could even have a paragraph that's just one word on its own, one line on its own. Feel free to let your sort of artistic expression shine through. Compare this to a soldier, somebody who's probably traveled at night before multiple times. They have rations in their pack, they're fully equipped, this is a sort of been there, done that type of thing for them, right? Now, they're probably a lot more familiar with the individual sounds they're hearing, right? You can go over the trill of the frogs, whatever sounds certain insects are making. It may be the noise of some kind of possum or raccoon type of thing. And your soldier will probably know exactly what it is without actually seeing them directly, right? A big thing you want to do is think about what their unique experience would be and how they sort of see what's happening. What does your soldier see or notice along the way? And, let's say that beast goes to attack, right? It just jumps out at them. And now you got to ask yourself, is it some kind of real beast or is it an actual monster? If it's a real animal, maybe this soldier is equipped to deal with it or has the training to deal with it, and they sort of face it head on. If it's a monster, depending on what it is, maybe they try to fight, or maybe they also run away. Now, bring us over the sort of mental process as he's running away, right? This soldier, is he running away in a panic? Is he absolutely freaked out? Or is he biding his time, trying to come up with a strategy, trying to see how he could maybe beat it? Or is he going over his sort of wildlife training to judge what the best way would be to treat this monster, right? Like, does he treat it like a black bear, brown bear, like some kind of moose or something, right? Does he try to swim away, climb up a tree? A lot of the time you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. Or does he just keep going and running, right? And make sure he's going through like densely packed trees, because he would be more nimble than this much bigger monster. For your soldier, there are kind of two genres that you can go with though, right? You can go kind of new recruit, panicking and freaking out just like that normal guy. You could go the veteran that's like in control of the situation. You could go like an old veteran that, he doesn't have the strength to deal with this anymore, type of thing. All of that is going to flavor the interaction very differently. Now let's compare this to like some kind of actual monster hunter, right? With the other ones, the one wasn't in control at all. He was freaking out from the beginning. With the second one, he was just like having a normal day type of thing. No real tension one way or the other, and then boom, a sort of monkey wrench was thrown into the whole night. Now with this monster hunter, right, he's probably out there with a purpose, and he's looking around for all these different signs of a beast that he's hunting, some kind of monster he's after. He's looking for tracks or any signs of them. Maybe he's finding like scratches where they mark their territory, some kind of droppings, or other indications of this monster. This monster hunter, he is prepared for a fight, Maybe he's still on edge, right? Maybe there's still some tension for him, but he's sort of been there, done that. He knows that he is the master of the hunt, and he knows that as long as he takes it seriously, he will prevail in the end. Now the question becomes, does the monster find him, or does he find it? Does he maybe like find its nest or its den and set a trap for it? All of these decisions can lead to vastly different outcomes. Either way, one thing is absolutely certain. The civilian, the soldier, and the monster hunter all have vastly different experiences of the night. And no matter what sort of subcategory you go for the civilian or the soldier, right? Because we did talk about a couple different types of civilians and soldiers. Each and every one of them have different perspectives, different thought processes, different experiences in general. Even if they take the exact same path, this is not the same night that they go through. They'll notice different things at different times. They'll feel different things at different times, right? A good example is you got your civilian kind of on edge, freaking out right from the start. You got your soldier that's more relaxed. He's been walking through the forest before. And then you got your monster hunter who starts out more on edge than the soldier, but he's still definitely more equipped for this scenario. He is able to take on whatever he's going to face because he planned for it, type of thing. But it's not like an unconfident, on edge type of thing, right? They're feeling different emotions throughout different spots. They notice different things at different times, or they don't notice things at all. And their mental state throughout the whole night is nowhere near the same. That right there is deep POV. You're letting your reader experience things in a way that they never could otherwise, right? You're bringing them through something that wouldn't exist without this exact character in this exact situation. You let them be the character, or at least as close to it as possible. If you want me to be more sort of explicit and in-depth with it, let me know down in the comments section below. I can write out all three of these scenarios and just read an example of them to you in another video if you like. As always, that is all I have for today though. So make sure to like and subscribe, and any other questions you've got, do let me know in the comments section below.